What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Wednesday. It is December 5th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. What is going on? Basically, we're looking at a shit show extraordinaire today. Although I do have two different games that I can cover today, and I will be talking about. I am going to be talking about Arca's Path. I played Arca's Path quite a bit yesterday, got into Arca's Path quite a bit, so I will have my full take on that. And also, I will be talking about Skyscraper. I will be talking about Scraper First Contact. Been playing quite a bit of that as well, at least when the game doesn't crash. I have had a number of problems where the game just crashes on me and I got to start over. Not sure what the deal is with that, but we will get into both of those topics very soon. But other than that, I really don't have anything else today. My house has kind of been in a state of chaos because of the remodeling project that is going on. In fact, I don't know if you... Oh, actually, look at my dog. Do you see my dog's dog food? Right over there. See my dog food? That's my dog's dog food bowl. And if you look over there, my dog's bed is over there. I made a little Keurig coffee station over there. And my water's over there. So I had to move all kinds of stuff, basically, out of these other rooms. Yeah, it's kind of the ceiling scraper show. Yeah, it's actually very appropriate that we're going to be talking about Scraper, because that's what these guys were doing in my living room, my family room, the kitchen area. Basically, my house has kind of like this open layout where the living room and the kitchen and the dining room, they're all kind of like together really in this big gigantic area. And they had to scrape all of it, and they scraped it all down, and they had to get that popcorn stuff off of there. Then they put a texturing over it, then they have to texture it. And then after that, they have to paint it. So it's kind of a process. And so they're actually done. They actually left, but it's still kind of a mess right now because everything is. I got stuff all over the place over here that you guys can't see. Luckily, it's out of camera shot. But I did leave my dog's dog food right in the camera shot. Didn't realize that. Probably would have prepared for that and not done that. But anyway, it's been very chaotic. And so I have not looked at any news. Half-Life 3 might be out today, and I would not know it because I have not looked at Reddit. I haven't looked at Upload VR. I haven't looked at a damn thing. I'm just stepping in here now. In fact, I didn't even have like my thumbnail or the event or anything ready for this show until just a couple of minutes ago. So kind of a last minute thing. I was thinking about making it set for 12 noon, and then I could have been prepared, but I thought, why do that? Let's just do ye old shit show. I can do a shit show. It works well. I've done it a million times before. That's the way it goes. Okay, so why don't we do this? Totally unprepared in every category. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch over here to our web browser breakdown. Now, this is one of the stories that I've seen, although it is kind of sketchatorical on this particular story. They're talking about, this is from Superdata, the shipments of virtual reality headsets in the year 2018. Now, the truth of the matter is, Superdata is basically pulling this information right out of you-know-where. I mean, they are basically making it up as they go along. Now, what it's supposed to be an educated guess. So it's definitely a guess. There's no question about that, but it's an educated guess. At least that's what they kind of hope. Let me get my popped out chat over here so we're in the right situation here. But yeah, so if we're looking at this list here, you can see PlayStation VR, supposedly 1.3 million headsets have been sold in this calendar year. Oculus Go, a little bit over 1 million. Samsung Gear VR, a little bit over 500,000. HTC Vive, I guess we're talking 200K. Oculus Rift, 100K, half of that. And the Vive Focus, 100K, no way. So I don't know, really, what is this information? And if we scroll down here, okay, Nathy's checking in, our boy Nathy, and he's like, impressive at YOSP, which is Shuhei Yoshida. You know, he's saying impressive for PSVR selling 1.3 million. But the quote I like is this: Hugo Tremblay replying to Superdata, and he says, these numbers are guesstimates at best. You should be ashamed to post these as facts. And Shane Dwyer says, I'm surprised Rift sales are so low and half the Vives doesn't seem right. Exactly. In other words, this is like bullshit information, really. I mean, it's like made up information. Let me see if I can go back. Where did I get this? Okay, so I probably got this from here on the Vive subreddit. Vive outsells Rift 2-1 in 2018. I'm not buying it. I'm simply not buying it. It doesn't make logical sense to me. How could something that costs so much more than another item, is advertised less than the other item, doesn't have as many exclusive games as the other item, yet it's going to outsell the Rift 2-1 in 2018? I think their numbers are completely out of whack, but that's just my personal opinion. But why don't I go ahead and refresh this? This is the Vive subreddit. Let's see if anything is popping off. So, you know, PC Gamer, they've announced their most anticipated VR games of 2019. I haven't checked this out at all. And I'm guessing, like any other website out there, when they do this, it's a clickbaity type of thing where they want you to click on this, click on that, click on this, click on that, and then you eventually get through and you get to see all their most anticipated games after you've clicked about 27 times. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the comments and see if somebody has carefully, yeah, okay, I knew it. Somebody in the comments would kind of give us a breakdown of what they're talking about so we don't have to click on all the bullshit. So Stormland, Vacation Simulator, Lone Echo 2, Space Junkies, Zed, Borderlands 2, no, Borderlands, well, I guess Borderlands 2 for PC VR, yeah, that's true, that'll probably be May, June, July, somewhere around there. Defector, Mech Warrior 5, question mark, A Fisherman's Tale, Prey, whatever happened to that Prey thing? Wasn't there something for Prey, like Moondust or whatever? I forget what it was, but there was some kind of thing for Prey. Don't know whatever the hell happened to that. Failspace, Gadgeteer. I've never heard of Gadgeteer. I have no idea what the hell that is. Population 1 and whatever Respawn is making. So, yeah, you know, I don't know that I agree with, like, obviously Stormland is the biggest game, period. End of story. Stormland is the #1 most wanted VR game of 2019. Lone Echo and Space Junkies are very highly anticipated. Population 1, absolutely highly anticipated. Borderlands 2, when it does eventually hit PC VR, that is going to be highly anticipated. Defector. Zed looks pretty sweet. I'm glad that they mentioned Zed. And there's a lot more other ones. So that is PC Gamer's most anticipated VR games. Not a big shocker there. And just seeing a little bit of what some other stuff are going on here on the Vive subreddit here. Why don't we go ahead and bounce over to Oculus and see what they got over there. And we can get into Arca's Path and Scraper here just in a minute. Let's see what Oculus is talking about. Gorn in real life. PC Gamer announces their... Oh, Shadow Uprising. So this game right here, it's now on Steam. Like, this is already out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to this YouTube video, and I'm actually going to take it off mute. I don't know if you guys are going to hear this. Let me know if you hear this. But I've tried to download this trailer like 6 different times with 4K video downloader, and I've never been able to download this. So maybe we could just watch it like this. Streaming it through. Kind of looks a little bit like Sairento VR, a little bit. This is Shadow Uprising. Avoid detection, so it's kind of stealth style. Volume might be super high here. I mean, it looks pretty darn indie. Does have a little bit of that Sairento look. Shadow Uprising. Does have a little bit of a cell shaded style as well. Okay, so that is Shadow Uprising. That is the official trailer. It is on Steam. Let me bounce over to the Steam page right now. So this says soon. I thought this was available today. I thought this was like out right now. It's been approved for release as of November 29th, and it just says soon. This is Shadow Uprising, Amber Eye Studio. And I've tried to download this trailer a number of times on 4K Video Downloader. You can see it does have a little bit of that cell-shaded styling, very similar to stuff like Dimension Hunter and Wanted Killer VR. But it also has very much of a Sairento kind of vibe to it as well. But you're doing stealth. Looks pretty indie. Gotta hope that the price on this is within decent range. You know, we're talking $19.99 or less probably. But that is Shadow trailer, or Shadow whatever, Shadow something. Can't go back right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. Shadow Uprising. Yeah, so Shadow Uprising should be hitting Steam in the not too distant future. It says Shadow Uprising is now on Steam. So I guess they have a Steam page, but it's not actually available. I thought this was available right now. But yeah, that's one of those that for some, I don't know why I can't get that trailer. I've been having so many problems with 4K Video Downloader. I actually tried to delete it and re-download it and still having issues. Dirt Rally is 40% off on the Oculus store. Actually, let's see, what is 40% off of Dirt Rally? What is the normal price? So normal price is $25. It's down to $15. Dirt Rally is a favorite of a lot of people. I didn't get into it too much. Played it mostly on PlayStation VR, and I just felt like the bouncing around and the stuff that you do in Dirt Rally, I don't know that I really want that in VR, to be honest with you. All right, well, not a hell of a lot is going on in news. We can go ahead and go over to Upload VR. I can go ahead and refresh this and see what the latest stories are. And, you know, they're still talking about the best Vive games. Now they're on day 3 of that. A Beginner's Guide to War Dust. Crashing a Mixed Reality Go-Kart, Mario Kart. Don't Look Down is like The Climb, but with more lava. Okay, so there's a game called Don't Look Down that's coming out. And, oh, this is actually some decent news right here. This is real legitimate news. So F8 has been dated for April 30th. Could this be the release date for the Oculus Quest? And it definitely could, because F8, I could easily see Zuckerberg walking on stage and having some kind of podium there on stage with a cloth that's covering something, and then he whips it off and he says, here is the Oculus Quest. It is available today. It is on Amazon right now. You can order it on our website right now. You know, it is available. $399 US, Oculus Quest available today. So that could happen on April 30th. That is legitimate news there. And then another story that I did see this yesterday. Facebook has a new patent for human eye retinal resolution. And I was trying to read about this, and it's kind of complicated, but really what it is that you basically have 2 different displays. And this is kind of what Varejo, whatever the name of that headset was, where they had the little micro display that was going to be in the center of your vision, and then all around that would be kind of a different display. And the hope was that it would just be seamless and you wouldn't notice, so you would just basically have your eyes focused in on the really high resolution part of it, and then the periphery would be covered with a lower resolution, and then that's where you get incredible, unbelievable VR, because it's kind of like built-in foveated rendering. And so the patent describes a headset which has eye-tracking driven foveated rendering. And it's also using like these little mirrors, like these steerable mirrors and optical combiners that project this display into the lens at a position the user's eye is pointed to. Low resolution parts of the world, parts not directly in front of the eyeball, go to the main display and are magnified directly by the lens. And then you have that really high resolution display, which matches, or, you know, supposedly matches the level that the human eye can potentially resolve. And so, you know, it does sound very similar to Vallejo. It says this patent may sound familiar if you've heard of the Finland-based company Vallejo. Vallejo's current prototype also features an inset and background display, but the high-resolution area is locked to the center of the display. It does not yet adapt to eye position. That's where this one would differentiate itself a little bit. It has a steering mirror that steers it so that the high resolution display actually adapts to your eye position. And Vallejo also has been awarded a patent for this exact same kind of technique as well. But I don't know, like, this may never ever be anything, right? And this may never be intended for the consumer market, or we could be 5, 6, 7 years away from this. So this is kind of like way future style. But this is in the news, Facebook Reality Labs, because the patent was awarded to, the patent's inventors are all listed as residents of Washington State, which is where Facebook Reality Labs is located. It is up there near kind of Seattle, Redmond, up in there near Valve and Microsoft and all those other guys as well. So that is a new high resolution. Well, that's a new patent. So, you know, we don't know if we'll ever see anything from that. But anyway, this is some of the stuff that is going on right now. I can bounce over to Road to VR and do a quick little refresh on this one. Oh, Insomniac has launched Seedling, Magic Leap 1's first paid app. So Seedling is available, and you have to actually pay money for it. This is the first Magic Leap app that you actually have to kick out a little bit of money for. That's kind of interesting. So we'll have to talk to Noah about this. Hopefully Noah could scrounge up a few pennies and pay for this. I wonder how much they're charging for it. Let's see. As a developer-focused headset priced at $2,300, the release of Seedling on Magic Leap 1 represents the company's first chance to test out its payment processing system and gather data on who's buying and how long people tend to play. All important steps along the way to creating a fully fledged app store. Yeah, so they already have, of course, Dr. Gordbort's Invaders, Angry Birds first-person Slingshot, Sigur Rós music experience Tanandi, and Magic Leap's sandbox experience Project Create. So those are what are out there right now, and Seedling is available in the Magic Leap World section of the store. It is priced at $10. Let me see if I can go ahead and I'm going to try to grab this trailer. We'll try to grab this trailer with 4K video downloader, and then I can throw it on in just a second here. So we'll go ahead and grab that, hopefully. So yeah, that's loading up, so I will have that trailer in just a second. Hopefully it's 1080p. We'll see what happens. And yeah, cool, it is 1080p. Okay, so we'll go ahead and switch back over here to our standard scene, and let's just go ahead and check this out. You know, this is Insomniac. They are a high-quality VR, AR developer. And AR is going to be a factor in the not-too-distant future. Within about the next 3 to 5 years, there probably will be an AR product that we actually care about. There might not be one right now, but within the next 3 to 5 years, there probably will be. So let's go ahead and check out this trailer for Seedling by Insomniac, available today.
Someone has made a mistake that has killed all the vegetation across the whole entire galactic ecosystem. And you have received a mysterious cadet kit and are being tasked with helping regrow the vegetation for an entire galaxy. The original pitch for Seedling was having an alien bonsai tree live in your world. And that was as deep as it was, that you would care for this bonsai tree.
You were given this vision of, like, we want to bring this alien plant form to life in real space, and that presented a number of challenges for us.
The key to it is finding ways that the content that you create, the digital content that you integrate to our world, understands our world. I think that that is the point where it becomes magic.
What's amazing to me is just how much it can read from your environment and kind of create a world that these characters can interact with.
Our final version actually looks at the real world around you, because the Magic Leap device is constantly scanning all the, the tables and the floors and walls and everything. And our plant will grow around that stuff as it grows in.
One of the first times that I saw Seedling was their very first prototype. These guys did a great job in really grokking the platform, really understanding how to pull the magic out of it. When you take the headset off, the Seedling is still growing. It's alive in your mind, but it's actually the systems are going. So when you put the device back on the next day, the plant has grown a bit.
What's magical about it being on Magic Leap is that the real world can interact with your digital content. That can't happen in other mediums.
I animated like a few test things of these moths kind of flying in, and the moment you can kind of put your hand through and they would react, that's where I realized we'd kind of hit something.
Being able to see it in real life just really makes that content grounded, like it's something that's really there.
Seedling was conceived specifically for Magic Leap and spatial computing. It is incredibly hard for me to imagine this working on another platform. It might look beautiful, it might be charming, but I don't think you're going to get the same richness of experience or interactions on any other platform or medium.
Alrighty, well that is Seedling by Insomniac, and they basically said that it kind of started out as this alien bonsai tree that you're taking care of. And I don't know, I just don't know how compelling of an experience that is. I'm sure it would be cool. Look, if I had a Magic Leap right here, right now, and I could try this out, I'm sure it would be pretty freaking cool and pretty freaking sweet to look at it and watch it. It does kind of remind me of that game Luna that came out on VR, and of course Luna, but now look at how that's shaking on the table. Like, do you guys see that shaking on the table? Is that just me? I see, it seems like it's kind of like shaking like this, and I gotta say, if I paid $2,300 to get a Magic Leap 1 AR headset and shit is still vibrating and shaking, I would be like, get the hell out of Dodge. Like, you need to figure this stuff out. Like, things cannot be shaking and vibrating, because that breaks the entire illusion. So I'm hoping that that is just something that came across in their camera capture of it, and that the actual person that is enjoying it, if it's shaking and vibrating, forget about it. Throw the technology away and figure something else out. You got to figure it out, because if stuff is shaking around, you break the illusion. The illusion has to stay solid for me, in my opinion. This vibrating, shaking thing doesn't do it. And just snipping out some flowers and stuff, I mean, I'm not a horticulturist. I'm not an arborist. I don't take care of flowers and plants. It's not really my bag. I mean, okay, you're watering a plant. It's growing a little bit better. I don't know how compelling this is. It kind of reminds me of Tanandi a bit as well, in terms of just like little things that are kind of floating around, and it looks kind of magical. I mean, I'm sure it's cool. Again, I'm sure there's a gee whiz factor, but 5 days later, am I going to give a damn? That's the problem with this stuff. You can make stuff that has great gee whiz factor when you're standing, when you're waiting in line, and you get 15 minutes or you get 10 minutes to try a sample of Magic Leap, and it has that gee whiz factor. But my question is, a week later, do you still care? Because that's when you have a game that is really legitimate, that has captured your attention, and you want to play that game, and you keep thinking about that game. but we've all had experiences where we've gone into it and then a day later, do we really care about it? So I don't know. I'm hoping that this kind of stuff is successful. I do believe in AR. In fact, not only do I believe in AR, I know a lot of you guys hate AR. I know that. But I believe in AR. I believe AR will absolutely dominate. I believe AR is probably about 6 years behind VR. So it's just going to take some time. So that's why a lot of you guys don't care about it. Looking over here at chat, Dr. Freeman says, well, first of all, Dr. Freeman says Magic Leap is a pile of crap. Then he says, wake me up in 5 years, pretty much. And then Chris Gould says, did Insomniac look at the sales numbers? No, Insomniac looked at the receipt in their bank account. That's what they looked at. Magic Leap has a treasure trove of cash, and they've thrown it at a few different companies, and one of these companies is Insomniac. Do you think Insomniac is building this for their health? They're building this because Magic Leap pulled up with a wheelbarrow full of cash for them and said, hey, would you guys like to make a Magic Leap project if we give you like $5 million to kind of get it up and going? And Insomniac said, yeah, sure. We probably need to figure out this AR stuff at some point anyway. We'll take your $5 million. And I'm just pure speculation out here, but I seriously do not believe that Insomniac actually sat in their boardroom and said, you know what? We've really got to make an experience on Magic Leap 1, and we're going to invest all our own money into making an experience on Magic Leap 1. No, this was bought and paid for, in my opinion, by Magic Leap. Now, Magic Leap is a private company right now. They don't have stock, so they're not going to have to release any kind of information about whether or not they just straight up outright bought this, but I do believe that that's probably what happened there. Scion says, interesting ideas. Don't think it would be something I would buy. Phil Yarn says, wow, that's awesome for me to poop on. And Dr. Freeman says, it amazes me that Magic Leap gets as much attention as it does. Dude, Magic Leap is getting very little attention, actually. Magic Leap got a lot of attention before we knew what the hell it was. And that's where all of the attention was, because it was this mystery product. We didn't know what it could possibly be. All these people were throwing crazy sums of cash at this secretive startup, and everybody wanted to know if they really did have something truly breakthrough. And then when they finally revealed it, we came to understand, no, they don't really have anything super incredible. It's actually just another HoloLens, maybe a little bit better, but no revolution by any stretch of the imagination. Prince Alexander says, does anyone know a single person who has bought a Magic Leap? No, I don't think any of us know anybody that has bought a Magic Leap. Now, do we know somebody that got one for free? Yeah, our boy Noah, but that's pretty much all we know. Phil Yarn says, this would be cool for a $200 product. Okay, Phil, you're being a little bit harsh there. Magic Leap should probably, I could see this thing costing $800, $799.99 for Magic Leap. I think that's a fair price. I think $200 is being a bit ridiculous. I don't think married people buy a Magic Leap. No one's buying a Magic Leap right now, and that's part of the problem for the company in general. Is this is a consumer-oriented, and look at it shaking. It's shaking on the table. And that's my big question, folks. Does it really shake like that? Where's Noah when you need him? Noah, did you pay the $10? Did you try this out? Is it shaking and vibrating? Because if stuff is shaking and vibrating, I have no interest. It's got to be rock solid, and then I can kind of buy in and believe into it. Crunchy says, does it die if you don't play it for a week? Yeah, if you don't water it. That would be kind of cool if it did have kind of this persistence to it, you know? But I'd rather take care of like a little baby dinosaur or something. Why would it just be a plant? I don't know. A plant seems kind of lame to me. And Crunchy says, this isn't a game. It's a virtual plant. It's kind of like a Tamagotchi kind of a thing, but made for Magic Leap, basically. So anyway, that is Seedling, and you know, we're bringing it up because it was on Road to VR. That's the only reason I'm bringing this up, and we saw that it did come out today. Let me go ahead and back over here. Let's get back to where we were. I just wanted to grab that video because they obviously had a new trailer. But yeah, we just saw this because it happened to be launched today, and this is their first paid app. So this is kind of the beginning of a new thing. Now, we do know that Red Matter is coming to PSVR. What I don't know is there an exact date? Because I've heard some different stories on this. So let's go ahead and look at this really quick. It says Vertical Robot released word of the PSVR launch in a tweet saying the single-player adventure game is headed to the PlayStation Store starting December 6th in Europe and December 11th in North America. The version optimized for PlayStation Pro features what Vertical Robot says is a 20% pixel density increase, as well as much improved anti-aliasing. And so, yeah, that's Red Matter, man. I'm a huge fan of Red Matter. You know what? I'm going, oh, and here we go. There I am right there. It doesn't have my little VR365 logo pasted on it like Jim Hall did over. See, this is what you guys are missing if you don't go to our Discord server. We have crazy stuff like this where I keep seeing this over and over again. And Jim Hall put a little VR365 logo right on the top of this. And I'm not sure if he like tried to put my eyeballs in there or what. But yeah, I keep seeing this, which is just absolutely bonkers why that keeps happening. But in regards to Red Matter, though, going back to Red Matter, one of the things I'm most curious about Red Matter coming to PSVR is because Red Matter is a good-looking game, man. It really is a good-looking game. And like I was saying yesterday, I played the I played the whole entire thing of Red Matter on my GTX 970 graphics card, and it was crystal clear, it was beautiful, it was dialed in, it was very impressive, Red Matter on my 970. And are they going to be able to squeeze that down to PlayStation VR? I'm very curious to see how Red Matter is going to look and play on PSVR, because if they can bring like 85% of that experience to PSVR, I think it's probably going to be a really well-selling game on PSVR. I think a lot of people are probably going to be into that for Red Matter on PSVR. So that is cool. It hits Europe tomorrow, and then it hits North America next Tuesday, Red Matter. Okay, going back over here, let's see, were there any other stories on Road to VR, or that pretty much was it? Mozilla releases developer build browser for Magic Leap 1. Again, another consumer-oriented thing for Magic Leap 1. I don't get it, because I don't see how Magic Leap 1 is going to work as a consumer-oriented product. I think they need to switch up. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get into some of the games that I was playing yesterday that I did want to talk about, and we can go ahead and start it off with Arca's Path. So let me go ahead and grab a trailer for Arca's Path and get it up on here. Miscellaneous Arca's Path trailer. Okay, so Arca's Path arrived yesterday. It is on all the major VR platforms. You can get this on Windows Mixed Reality, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, PlayStation VR. I don't believe it has an Oculus Go version, although they really should start banging away on one, because I think it would be absolutely perfect for the Oculus Go. And the reason why is because you use head movement. There's no need to even use your controllers. The only thing you need to use your controller for is to like recenter your view or something when you're first starting out. But other than that, you can put your controllers on the ground, and it's kind of a cool game from the standpoint that you can just kick back in your chair. If you want to be an incredibly lazy gamer and just kind of kick back like this and play this game, you can do it. You can kick back and play this game. You control it with your head. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the exact same thing that I thought. When I found out that you control this game exclusively with your head, I thought, oh my God, this is a terrible idea. What are you thinking? People don't want to control something with their head. This is awful. This is terrible. And the very first time I got into Arca's Path, for maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes, I continued to think the same thing. I was like, this is a horrible idea. I'm going to have, you know, who's going to pay for my chiropractor? You know, my neck is going to be all out of whack. You know, I'm moving my head like, you know, little tiny movements of my head to kind of control this ball that you're rolling around. But you know what's crazy? It works, and it works really, really freaking well. And so I'm actually an advocate of this game. I like Arca's Path. I don't know what my final review of this game would be. Like, I haven't played it that long to like give an entire review and everything. But if somebody said, Anthony, I'm thinking of picking up Arca's Path, what do you think? Is this a good one to get, or would you avoid this one? I would say go ahead and grab it. I think it is a very solid game, especially if you grabbed it right now for $18 and, you know, for the $20 price as well. I'm very, very pleased that the price happens to be $19.99. I was worried if this was $29, $34.99, maybe I would be a little bit, maybe I'd have a different impression on whether or not I would really recommend people to go grab it. For that $20 price, you got to remember, what is a lot of the stuff that we play in the VR gaming world that goes for $20, and some of it is kind of garbage. I mean, some of it is very amateur hour type stuff. You don't have production values. You don't have nice menus. You don't have little bleeps and bloops that sound really good. And this has all of that. It has tremendous production value. I don't know that I would say like AAA production value, but at least from a sound standpoint, from a sound design standpoint, yeah, I probably would say that as AAA production value. Now, the sound in this game is really good. In fact, it might be the standout feature for me because all of the sound effects are done very well and convey a lot of information along with the sound effect itself. And then you have the background music. And one of the things I mentioned yesterday on our Discord server, as I said, you know, Arca's Path is another Tron-like, which is something I invented. Tron-like, games that are trying to be like Tron. But with this game, it's not, it's only the music. The music at certain points is very Tron-like, and some of the production values and stuff kind of give it a little bit of a Tron flavor as well. And so really like the background music. I like the sound effects, but the most important part is it has really good environmental sounds. Okay, that's different. You have your background music, you have your sound effects, but there's like an environmental sound that is going on in these different and there's a lot of courses. I've only gone through about 16 or 17 of these things, you know, so I'm still very, very early on in this game. And the different courses, you know, they start off super simple and super basic, and then they start getting harder and harder and harder. And it does have kind of an Angry Birds style to it, very similar to Squishies in that way, where you might want to get through the courses faster. You might want to redo them. Or as you're going through these courses, there's crystals, and you'll notice little crystals that are scattered about, but you have to take certain paths. You have to go this way, then you have to go over this bridge, you have to knock this down, then you get the crystal, then you come back around. So here's the deal. If you find every single crystal on that individual level, you will unlock a time trial for that individual level. If you find every crystal but one, you do not unlock the time trial. So part of the game is you can just go through the game normal style and not really worry about finding every single crystal, or you can go through it and you try to find every single crystal. Now, in terms of the actual gameplay, in terms of using your head as a controller, seems like a horrible, horrible idea at first, but it actually works pretty brilliantly here. So basically, you have this little ball that is rolling around, and I don't know if it's an octagon. I mean, I don't know what it's exactly called, but it's like this sphere that is rolling around, right? But you don't really want to worry about that ball too much. What you want to worry about is a triangle. There's a triangle that is on the screen that is below your ball. And that's really what you're focusing in on. You're focusing on that triangle. And so with your head, see that little triangle moving ahead of it there? You move the triangle way far ahead of your ball. You increase the speed of your ball. You bring your triangle back. You get it much closer to your ball. Your ball will barely roll along. It's barely moving. And then if you get your triangle like right underneath your ball, your ball will just come to a complete stop. And what will become frustrating at a certain point as you get through a little bit of these earlier levels, the earlier levels are pretty easy to deal with, but as you start to get a little bit further along, you're going to get to some more complicated levels where you need to stop on a dime. And that's going to be a bit tricky because early on you can kind of go really fast. Your ball isn't falling off the edges. The sides of the courses are lined with rocks and barriers where it keeps your little ball there unless you're going super fast, and then you flip it off of there and it falls off and you die. Now, if your ball does fly out of there and fall down, within a couple of seconds, bam, you're right back in the game. So I kind of like that. You know, you quickly get back in it. The courses are colorful and fun, but very muted. You might notice, like we're looking at these graphics here, the colors are very muted. There's a lot of pinks, a lot of pastel kind of colors, a lot of earthy tones. You don't see like vibrant reds and yellows and bright blues. Everything is kind of muted. And so it has kind of this little style that it's going with. And you just go through these levels, and it's basically Marble Madness that you control with your head in VR. It's made exclusively for VR. Like, this was not designed to be played any other way than VR, and it shows. And it's a high quality, well done product. And I have nothing but high praise for this game. I mean, it's going for 20 bucks. I think it's a very solid title. You know, especially you grab it for 18. Now, having said all of that, one thing I have to say is we've got so many goddamn games right now. You know, we've already gone through, in the month of September and October and November, so many games are bombarding us. And I know a lot of you guys have picked up a lot of games. You've bought Jet Island. You've bought Transference. You've bought, I said it the right way that time, Transference. Doesn't sound as good though. You bought Transference, you bought Jet Island, you bought Vox Machina, you might have grabbed Windlands 2, you might have even grabbed Red Matter when it came to Steam for the first time. So you guys might have a lot of games right now. You might not really be looking to buy another game. And the thing that I'll say about Arca's Path is I don't know that like you need to run out and buy this game right away. I don't think it's a life-changing game, but I think it is very solid, very well done. And some of the courses, one of the things I didn't mention is that sometime as you're rolling your ball through these courses, sometimes it almost feels like you're on a roller coaster ride. Like you almost get this first-person perspective and you're like going, woo, you know, you're going down and you're like, the ball's like rolling up the sides of these platforms and it's rolling down and you're trying to collect all the crystals and all of that. So I'm a fan. Arca's Path, very solid, very good game. I kind of put it right there with, say, something like Transpose. Very similar. I mean, completely different games in completely different ballparks, but they're both going for 20 bucks. They're both high quality, but they're both not necessarily ideal for everybody out there. And they're both these games where, you know, you're not going to write a letter to your mom about, Mom, I just got Transpose. It's so amazing. You're also not going to do that about Arca's Path. Solid game, good game. And if you want a Marble Madness type game, this game's going to be hard to beat. Even with the head controls and everything, I think you get over the head controls pretty darn quick. And I think if they were ever to make a joystick-based control for this game, it would kind of ruin it in a certain way. So it would ruin it a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to go back and see what some people are talking about. Chris Gould says, every review on PSVR for this is really bad. Sum it up as really boring. Okay, I haven't played the PSVR version, not sure. Paradise Decay says, Arca's Path is cool, but I think it needs modifiers like gravity, no walls, wind turbulence, etc. So yeah, so I guess maybe not everybody's into it. PSVR without parole didn't like Arca's Path. How do you move in it? You move in it, there's a triangle that is under your ball, and you basically move your head and it moves this triangle, and you kind of move your head back, you move the triangle back this way, you move your head this way, you move the triangle that way, you kind of tilt your head. You know, you basically, you'll quickly realize it. You see the triangle on the screen, you start moving your head, it starts moving around, and you get a feel for it. I liked it. I liked it. I like Arca's Path. I'm going to stand by my take. I like Arca's Path. Now, if this game was $29.99, I'd have some problems with it, but at the $20 price, I think it's a solid game. Really do. Fuzzy Dragon says, yesterday Anthony said that everyone suffers in VR headset. I had never suffered till playing Red Matter. Yeah, Fuzzy Dragon just has it out for Red Matter. Phil Yarn says, should you buy Downward Spiral, y'all? It's $20. I don't know. I don't know. And Chris Cox says, there's only 25 levels. Okay, because I've been through about 16 or 17 levels of this game, and I wasn't sure how many total levels there were, and so there might not be a tremendous number of levels. I still think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool magical game to me. Chris Gold says, this looks like a mobile game to me, but it's got production value. Okay, you know, bottom line, everybody hates Arca's Path. I like it. I'll be on an island by myself. I'm good with that. I'll be on an island by myself. I don't mind. I will stand on that island, and, you know, I'll make my little Island Time VR right on that island. Scion says, I would like to see an exact Marble Madness clone in VR that works with an Xbox One controller. It was all about beating the clock. And Kev Gret says, Anthony does a good ball impression. Yeah, as you're going, zzz, as you're going through the levels, my little ball impression. Yeah, so that is Arca's Path. I still feel like it's solid. Actually, why don't we bounce over here? I just wanted to check out, let's check out the Steam page for Arca's Path and see if, like, what kind of reviews and stuff it has right now. Arca's Path VR, you can see, you know, it's showing this $18 price. Of course, that is for a limited time. That is until December 11th. 10% off. It goes up to $20. No user reviews. What? No user reviews? It's been available for an entire day. But Push Square gave it an 8 out of 10. Tech Raptor gave it an 8.5 out of 10. And PSU gave it a 9 out of 10. A triumph, you know. And I don't know that I would say it's a triumph. Ambient soundtrack. Now, that's what I was talking about. I was saying these environmental sounds. It definitely has that. And challenging physics-based gameplay. I liked it. I liked it. I like Arca's Path. I think it's solid. I don't know that it's the game that we need right now, and I'm certainly not in need of another game. I need another game like I need a hole in my head. I don't need another game, but it is solid in my opinion. So that's my take on Arca's Path. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to Scrapper. Let's get our scrap on. Let me go ahead and grab a Scrapper trailer. A Scrapper. I kept calling it Scrapper. Scraper. I just cannot get this name right. I think Scrapper. Okay, so here's the thing about Scraper. Scraper is an interesting ball game here because I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on Scraper. I'll be completely honest with you. Sometimes I see games like Scraper and I hear it's coming from a team called Labradex Studios. And I've never heard of Labradex Studios, and there's a lot of developers that come out of the woodwork. You never heard of them before. They have all these aspirations for making a kick-ass VR game, and a lot of times they fall short. And I got to admit, when I first saw all the information for Scraper, like the book and all of this stuff, I kind of thought, man, this game is probably going to blow. I thought this game's probably going to be a dud. I don't know. That was just my first initial impression, just based on the things like the screenshots that I saw from a long time ago and how long it was taking to make the game and everything. And I was like, New Austin. I mean, they're kind of going for this like almost like a RoboCop kind of thing, like Detroit and RoboCop, but it's like New Austin and kind of like iRobot and all of that. And I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it, and I kind of thought this was going to be a major disappointment. So then when this game came out, I tried to get a key like anybody else, didn't get any kind of a key, but some other people did, and they were playing Scraper, and they liked it. Like Paradise Decay really liked Scraper. A bunch of other people really liked Scraper. They were surprised at how good it was. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, kind of surprised. Because again, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it with this Labradex Studios and everything. So finally, I get into Scraper yesterday and the day before. I played Scraper for 2 days now. Now, the very first time I got into Scraper and I was playing it, one thing I had heard, and had I not heard this, I would have been standing up. But the developer for Scraper, Labradex Studios, says everybody on like all these YouTube, Twitch streamers are playing Scraper standing up. You're not supposed to be standing up. You're in this little hovercraft vehicle. You're in like a little pod. You know, it's almost like you're in a little tiny tank or a little tiny, just, you know, a little tiny fit car or a little tiny pod that you're inside of, basically. And so Labradex Studios said, you guys should be playing this sitting down. It's designed to be played sitting down. So I knew that going into it, where otherwise I would have been just standing up thinking you're supposed to play it standing up. So I'm sitting down, I'm playing the game, and when you're first in there, it defaults to smooth turning. And I have a major problem with smooth turning. Like, it doesn't work for my brain. I've tried to force it on my brain, and my brain doesn't like it. Snap turning, bang, 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 to the left or right, you know, 45-degree snap turning, 30-degree snap turning, whatever it is, snap turning works. My brain deals with it. Now, when I first got into Scraper, I didn't have snap turning on. I was doing smooth turning, and I was like, wow, I like these production values. This is almost like a legit AAA game. Like, this is pretty cool here. But I was moving my thing around, and I was like, this is kind of hurting my head a little bit. And then when I finally got out of Scraper, I had like a major headache. So then the next time I went back into it, I immediately tried to find, okay, where's the options? Where's the options? Okay, I found the settings and I changed it to snap turning. Once I did that, I was all good. No more problems. Now, in regards to Scraper the game, there is a lot of good aspects to Scraper. There are some negatives. Let me cover some of the negatives first. Number one, I'm having some performance issues with this game every once in a while. Like, what I mean by that is, have you guys noticed this? Like, you'll get into a VR game and it's working pretty well, but then it starts doing this thing where like one of your eyes is working, but like the other eye kind of like goes halfway, and it's like, you can tell like it's like, okay, the GPU or whatever, something isn't working right, and I'm gonna have to wait a few seconds for it to like figure out whatever its deal is. And like, I'm playing this on an Oculus Rift, and on the Oculus Rift it has this little hourglass thing that'll pop up when it's kind of having like you know, like basically like a performance problem. It's basically telling you to kind of hold on a minute. That happens quite a bit in Scraper, I've noticed, where like sometimes it'll be perfectly smooth. Everything's going great. It's nice and smooth. It's running well. The sound is good. The gameplay is fast and furious. Everything seems to be working great. But then there seems to be these little hitchy moments where it starts to have some issues. So that was a bit disconcerting. The other issue I had with Scraper is this game has crashed on me like 4 or 5 times. Like, it seems like 50% of the time I get into this game, it's just going to crash on me and just randomly crash on me. So I don't know if I need to go into like my Steam. Like, you know how you can like right click the game in Steam, and you can go into your properties and you can kind of repair corrupted files or whatever. Maybe I need to do some of that, or maybe I need to like delete it and re-download it or something. But the game has crashed on me a number of different times as well. Okay, now what else is majorly negative? This is probably the biggest negative I could give to Scraper, period, is the fact that the shooting, the combat to me just doesn't feel that great. It just doesn't feel that great. Like, for example, okay, so you're in your little pod and you're rolling along. Now, I love the environments. I love the world of Scraper. They did a great job with that. I feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie. The music is good. I feel like I'm in New Austin and I'm like in a RoboCop movie or iRobot or, you know, Terminator or something like that. You feel like you're in a sci-fi robot movie. The sound, the whole production value, it works really nicely. So I like all of that. Big fan of that. However, when you get into combat, you will have some robot guy that's running at you, or some little robot spider thing that's running at you, or a bigger robot comes and attacks you. And basically what you do is you just have to hit the triggers on your guns, and you just start shooting this guy, you know, and your shooting is kind of going sideways like that, and you're shooting with your left hand, and it's kind of going sideways like that. Then you have a couple special weapons. But what it felt like to me is like, this robot is shooting me. I'm shooting him. Shoot, 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 shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Okay, I'm taking damage. He's taking damage. Shoot, 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 shoot. And it just kind of comes into this situation where, okay, well, one of us is going to die. You know, am I going to shoot him enough before he shoots me? He dies. Okay, I'm still alive. Now my health is really low. I don't know, man. I just feel like my early impression, and I'm very early in this game, so I'm not very far at all. So this is not a review. This is my first impression. Okay, so I'll be talking more about Scraper as the days and weeks move along. I'll get into this more. I'll get further into this, and maybe my tune will change a bit as I get different weapons or different add-ons. But right now, I feel like the combat is just kind of like shoot, 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 shoot. Shoot, 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 you know, hope that you survive long enough with enough of your shields and enough of your health, and just hope that, like, I don't feel like the combat is good. That's just my opinion right now in Scraper. I feel like it's just kind of shooty, shooty, shooty. I don't know, maybe I haven't learned it well enough yet, but these are kind of my feelings on Scraper. But the thing that I will say, though, it's definitely way the hell better than I ever thought it was. Now, should you run out there and pay $29.99 for it? I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's go back over here and let me see what the let's take a look at the Steam page for Scraper. Scraper First Strike. Yeah, see, it's $30. The soundtrack is pretty cool, so you can download the soundtrack for free. I mean, it does. This game does have production values. It's got 6 user reviews. This came out on November 21st. Labradex Studios, Labradex Inc. is a developer of it. It has had a patch. You know, so I don't know. It's a little bit mixed for me. I mean, I can see the AAA kind of production values that I really wasn't expecting. Like, this is kind of a AAA-ish kind of a game, but the combat would have to be better, you know, and I haven't gotten too far along, but I do love the environments and all of that. So that's kind of my thoughts. So let me go ahead and switch back over here to our standard scene. Let's see what some people are talking about in chat. Since I started talking about Scraper, I'm going way back here. Soundtrack for Scraper, created by Winifred Phillips. Music for God of War, Assassin's Creed, and The Sims, to name a few. Yeah, I do like the soundtrack. I do like... you're in like a sci-fi movie. I like that. That's what I like about it. Logo looks like a foxhound. Yeah, no, it's kind of like a Labrador. Smooth turning gets me every time. That shiny robot. And blink while you turn, solved. That's Bullet Ape. Yeah, well, you solve it by going into the options, into the settings. And you know what? The very first time I went into Scraper, I probably could have set it to snap turning, and it would have been fine, but I just went into the game. MameFan is adamant, before you go into any VR game, you gotta look for the settings. You gotta look for the options before you go into any game, and that's what I should have did. And let's see, Paradise Decay is saying, I didn't like Metal Flying Suit, gave it 2 stars and goes home, and now I'm getting blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's something else. I'm trying to see what people are talking about in regards to Scraper. Well, Scion says you can train your brain to accept smooth turning if you start with a very low sensitivity and gradually bump up the analog sensitivity each week. Yeah, I've heard about this. You know, people have said you can kind of force yourself to deal with smooth turning. But snap turning just works so good for me. So why don't you put snap turning in more games? I don't know. Chris Gould says, with Scraper, I just want to know how much meat is on the bone, i.e. how much content, close to pressing the button on it. And I don't know how much meat is on this bone. I know that I'm pretty early into it. I don't know how many hours this lasts. I don't know if anybody has run through the entire game and said how many total hours is in it. Not sure. The guy in the trailer has a Humpty Dumpty head. You know, there's good voice work. That guy right there. Yeah, that guy right there. There's good voice work, good production values. It's a nice game. It's a nice game. I wish the combat wasn't just like shoot, 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 shoot. You know, I feel like the combat is like there's not like you want to dodge or something. You want to dodge or hide behind something and shoot, but I feel like I couldn't do that. I felt like the only way that I could really get into combat with other robots is just get in a straight up shoot, shoot, shoot fest. And that's not very fun to me, you know? And then you have to try to find health. You have to get your health back up. You're going to these different computer terminals and you're like logging into computer terminals and you're like hacking computer terminals. You're downloading prototypes and schematics and stuff. And there's certain things that you're doing. I mean, there's a story that is going on here. It's like a legitimate story and stuff. And I haven't gotten to the part where you get to this guy, Cypher, and I'm sure it would be pretty cool. To like dealing with this guy is probably going to be fun, and just hearing his voice and everything. I think this story might be pretty cool. Like I would be kind of into that. Chris Gold says, a polished looking shooter or rolling a marble with your head. Which to choose? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to choose either one of them. That's the thing. You know, maybe not choose either one of them. Maybe just go back and continue to play some Windlands 2. Maybe play some Transference. Maybe play some Jet Island. You know, maybe play some Vox Machina. We don't have to buy every game that comes out. Phil Yarn says, I'm a snap turner. And Scion says, once you have trained your brain for smooth turning, it's like riding a bike. You don't lose it. I'm glad I did it. Yeah, it's just a lot of pain and suffering to put myself through to finally learn smooth turning. Chris Gold says, I smooth turn in VR and I snap turn in real life. How awkward would that be? And Fallout 4 is great for getting used to smooth turning. Fallout 4 does have standard snap turning, right? Because I'm a snap turning guy, man. Snap turning works for me. My brain can handle it. I like it. You know, it's funny, Bullet Ape said blink while you turn. I actually closed my eyes. Like the very first time I was playing, because when I was first playing through Scraper, when I was first playing through Scraper, I wanted to get into the options and turn on snap turning, but I was going through like the story, like the initial story, and it wouldn't let me get to any kind of an options or anything. And so I was like, well, I just got to power through it. I got to power through this like initial like training level to finally get into the main game, and then I can get into my options once I'm into the actual game proper. And so what I was doing is I literally was closing my eyes and turning and then reopening them because I didn't want to get too much of a headache. And I did. I came out of it with a headache. So that's my take for Scraper, and that is my take for Arca's Path. Two solid games. They both have their own set of issues. I would say Arca's Path has way less issues, but it also might be way less exciting because it's pretty much Marble Madness. You're guiding a ball through its stages. I think Arca's Path is one of these games where if you finish through the entire game, I don't think you're going to revisit it ever again. But, you know, hey, you got it for $18. Do you really need to revisit it again? Maybe it's kind of like that. So we've been going here for pretty much an hour, which is kind of amazing. But what I can do is we can switch back over here to our Webby browser window and maybe just take a quick look and see if there's anything else that's going on. Maybe we can go to the Oculus subreddit real quick. Let me go ahead and refresh this and see if there's any other news stories that are popping off. Minecraft Oculus Go Edition needs you. Yeah, so what you got to do here is you got to vote now on the link in the comments. Basically, one of the devs for Minecraft, one of the devs for Mojang was saying that you have to go here and ask for it, and then we can eventually give it to you. Puppy Chef Academy releases on Oculus Home today. Haven't seen that one. And Rift headset no longer sees touch controllers. And yeah, so I guess there's not much going on here. Maybe we could check out PSVR subreddit. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on in PSVR world. Like they're always getting more and more games announced for PSVR. Let's see what they're talking about here on the PSVR subreddit. Looking for a new game, try To the Top. To the Top is very good on PSVR. Rush reviews, so some of the Rush reviews are coming out. People are reviewing Rush on PSVR. Whatever happened to Seeking Dawn? Good question. I don't know. What did ever happen to Seeking Dawn? Let's see if there's any info in here. I know Seeking Dawn was supposed to come to PSVR. This one guy says it's a pretty bad game. No, Seeking Dawn is not a pretty bad game. It's actually a pretty good game. I kind of need to go back into Seeking Dawn. Borderlands 2 is just another Skyrim question mark? Yeah, but it has humor and it has those beautiful cel-shaded graphics, right? Anyone else love Creed? Track Lab or Electronauts? I'd probably say Electronauts. And yeah, so I guess not much going on over here on PSVR. Oh, see, Runes: The Forgotten Path. That is coming to PSVR. See, I knew I heard there's a number of games that are coming to PSVR. It seems like all the time. Yeah, Runes: Forgotten Path, and Red Matter is next week. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. I guess we pretty much covered everything. We have been going for about an hour, so I guess we could pretty much call this one kind of a shit show today. My apologies. I wasn't really prepared for this particular episode. I do have a legitimate excuse. Lots of work is going on. Remodeling, all kinds of stuff is going on here. Some people might have just not even had a show, but I said, F it, I'm going to go ahead and do a show anyway. So, tried to do the best we could and get through the day. So, tomorrow we will be back on Thursday, of course, with a brand new episode. So, let me go ahead and get my outro logo on here. So yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for another show. Once again, I will ask you, those of you that are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. It helps our show in a major way. Be sure to like the video or dislike the video. Either way, we're good. Apathetic is what we don't want. And if you could, leave a comment after this show is over. Like once it's all done, leave a regular YouTube comment. The more comments we get, the better. So maybe you can make a comment in regards to Arca's Path, in regards to Scraper, possibly in regards to the patent for that new technology that Oculus might come out with at some point in the future with the varifocal display, basically, that they're looking at there, kind of like Varejo. So that could be coming. You could leave a comment on that or anything else. So we'll go ahead and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. See you guys then. Take it easy. Later.